Remember road trips as a kid when it felt like you were never going to get there and you would ask that question, are we there yet? And your mom wished she could say yes. My dad's response to that was always, well, we're closer than when we started. And thinking back on that, it just made me realize, I think later in life, we still have this desire to get where we're going really quick, right? Do you agree with that? I want to have an empty nest. I want to have a lean body. I want to have a thriving marriage. I want to have a flourishing business. You know, these things that we want. But the reality is there is no insta arrival, no matter how insta things look, no matter what we see on social media or around in the world around us, we all have to take the journey. Well, my name is Lissa Figgins, and I help women add health to their mind, to their body, to their skin, so they can flourish in life, not only physically, but also personally. And this is something that I've actually been struggling with. And so I thought maybe there was someone out there who was struggling with this as well. You ever have those times like I did earlier this week where I was looking around and I was seeing people that were where I wanted to be, and I just kind of started to say, hey, well, what about me? Like, why are they already there? Why did it take me so long to figure out these things that I was passionate about and that I wanted to do? When am I gonna, get to see the success that I'm working towards, that, I really, really desire? And, that can be a real struggle. That can be a hard thing. And it was really neat because the timing was perfect. I happened to listen to a podcast by Amy Porterfield. And if you don't already listen to her podcast, I highly recommend her because she shares all kinds of business tips. And a lot of times they also bleed over into personal life. Well, she was talking about this idea that there is no such thing as overnight success. We see these people pop up on social media. We see these people, on TV or in movies or things like that. And we just are like, wow, where did they come from? Like they just came out of nowhere and were a sudden success, right? But the reality is there are years and years of hard work when nobody was watching that went on behind the scenes before they were even on the map, before anybody even knew their name. So why do we expect that our success is going to be any different than that? And to quote Amy Porterfield, behind every successful story, there's commitment, determination, and resilience. And so I really loved listening to her podcast. It was episode 305, if you want to go and listen to it. I really enjoyed listening to it because she reminded me, like, I'm not alone. There's nothing wrong with me. This is normal. This is actually to be expected, that I feel like I'm on a journey longer than I want to be, and that's okay. And she actually went ahead and shared 4 benefits for why you don't want to skip the hard stuff, why the long journey actually can be a good thing. So let me real quick share those with you, and then what you can do if you find yourself in the same spot that I was. Number 1 is it helps us to identify who we are and what we stand for, right? When something's taking a long time, that means that we've got to stay with it. And so it helps us to see what are those things that are important to me? Who am I? And what is it that I'm working towards? The second one is that we're free to test the waters. Sometimes if we just go with, a whim or what we think in the beginning, that's not always where we end up at the end. So by having more time, it allows us to try different things and to really figure out what is my passion, what's my niche, what is it that really gets me up out of bed in the morning, and what is it that I really want to focus on instead of just jumping into the thing that sounds great in the beginning. The third one is it helps us to be intentional with decisions, right? Again, when we slow things down, we can stop, we can process, we can really think through how this interacts with us and the people that are around us and where we want to go and decide, is this a good thing? Is this a step that I want to take? Is this a direction that I want to go? Or is this going to take me in a different direction? So it slows down, makes that decision process more intentional. And the fourth one is it's going to build our character, right? It's going to build resilience. It's going to build depth in us, because when we get knocked down, when we get lost, when we are having these things happen, when we get told no, when we are struggling to learn, that's going to build who we are. And we're going to be able to say, wow, you know what? Like, I can do this because I've got character. I stuck with this. I have grit. And this is something that I'm not going to give up on. So we don't want to skip the journey, because then, you know what? We're actually going to miss the best part, right? What if instead of looking back and just seeing how long that road was and all the detours or the pit stops or the sand traps that got us stuck, and what if instead we looked back and said, wow, look at all the evidence that I can do what I set out to do. Like, look how far I've come. Look how much closer I am today than I was yesterday, how much closer I am now than when I started, like my dad had said, right? So if you find yourself stuck and just kind of wondering, like, why am I still on this road and not getting to my destination? Amy recommends asking yourself 3 questions. The first is define success. If we don't know where we're going, right, we're never going to know when we get there. So define, what does this look like? What's my destination? Where am I looking to get? And that's going to be different for everybody. The second one is to decide, is this something that I'm willing to commit to? Is this something that's really important to me? You know, am I willing to make sacrifices? Am I willing to say no to things? Am I willing to keep going when it doesn't feel comfortable or when it's taking too long? And then the third one is deciding on what that next action step is. Sometimes it's just taking the next step, right? And then the next step, and then the next step. And the cool thing is that if we don't give up, if we don't quit, if we don't get off the road, we are going to end up at our destination. And that's going to be exhilarating. The view is going to be beautiful. It's going to feel so good to be there. We can enjoy that. And then you know what? It's time to go back and say, okay, now let's redefine what success looks like. You know, maybe you've achieved some big goal or something that you were really working towards. So now what is that next thing? Because we always want to be moving and growing, right? Because that's how we're going to keep going in life. So I love that. And what is even the best part of all of this is when you're not on the journey by yourself, right? When you're not on a lonely road all by yourself and you've got somebody by your side. So I want to let you know, friend, that no matter what, I'm by your side. I would love to hear, what is success to you? What is it that you're working towards? What is it that you would love? Share it, declare it, put it down in the comments, send me a message because I'm here to cheer you on. I would love to share some resources that may help you along that journey and give you some more of what you need to be able to keep doing what it is that you're doing. So let's connect over on my website. It's lissafiggins.com. And when you go there, you can click on Let's Connect, and then we can find a time to connect. We can message, we can hop on a call. I would love to hear from you. So share down in the comments, what is it that success is to you? Because my friend, I'm cheering you on into that destination.